Well, my dear friends, pull your chairs closer to the fire. I see you've already poured your coffee. That's the spirit. Today, I have a story for you that smells not just of old printer's ink, but of real excitement, small human weaknesses, and big victories over our own forgetfulness. We open the newspaper or pick up our tablets every morning, see those black and white grids, and take them for granted. It's as if they've always been with us, like the sunrise or that squeaky gate in my backyard. But you know, a crossword isn't just a game, it's an entire era fitted into a few intersecting lines. So, listen in. Look back at New York in 1913. It's right before Christmas. In the offices of the New York World newspaper, there's the usual holiday bustle, but one journalist, Arthur Wynne, has a real headache. He has a hole in the entertainment section, a blank space that needs to be filled with something so the readers don't get bored while eating their Christmas pie. Arthur remembered a game he used to play with his grandfather back in England. It was called Magic Squares. He drew a grid, threw some words in there, and called it Word Cross. And here, my friends, life itself stepped in. A few weeks later, a distracted typesetter at the print shop, probably dreaming of his weekend, mixed up the letters in the headline. Instead of Word Cross, he printed Crossword. And what do you think happened? People liked that name much better. It sounded more energetic somehow. Arthur looked at it, scratched his head, and decided, let it stay. That is how a great global passion was born from a simple typo. Look at that first crossword. It didn't look like our modern squares at all. It was shaped like a rhombus, or as they said back then, a diamond. And there wasn't a single black square inside it, just empty space to be filled with letters. It was only later that we started shading in the extra bits to create these complex puzzles for the mind. In the 1920s, something incredible began. Now, I wasn't around yet. I was born in '47. But I remember the stories my folks told about the crossword craze. It was a lot like how young people today are always looking at their phones. Except back then, people were staring at newspapers. Think about a subway car in rush hour. No one is talking. No one is looking out the window at the skyscrapers. Everyone, from bankers in top hats to simple laborers, is hunched over a sheet of paper. They even started putting special tables on trains just to make it easier to write. But the most interesting thing was happening in the libraries. It was a total war. Poor students and serious scholars couldn't get to the shelves because all the copies of dictionaries and encyclopedias were hijacked by crossworders. People would spend hours looking for some rare five-letter word meaning a Paleolithic tool. Librarians were in despair. In New York, they even passed a rule: you couldn't sit with a dictionary for more than 5 minutes. Can you picture that? A line of grown, respectable people, each waiting for their 5 minutes of glory over a thick volume of Webster's. It was a real intellectual epidemic. Now, here is a lesson, my friends, about how life breaks even the most stubborn pride. The most prestigious newspaper in the world, the New York Times, held out for years. Their editors called crosswords a cheap pastime for the illiterate. They published angry articles calling it a sinful waste of time that destroys the brain. Oh, how wrong they were. But then came 1941, Pearl Harbor. War came to every American home. People were under constant stress. The news from the front was heartbreaking. And then the editor-in-chief realized people needed an island of calm. They needed something they could control. The world around them was crumbling, But in a crossword, there was always order. Every question had a clear answer. In February 1942, the New York Times finally gave in and printed its first crossword. They did it to distract people from the horrors of the war, to give them those 20 or 30 minutes of silence and focus. And you know what? Today, that paper's crossword is considered the most difficult and prestigious in the world. So much for a cheap pastime. Now listen to this almost detective-like story. This happened in Britain in 1944, just before the Great Landing in Normandy. Operation Overlord. It was the biggest secret in human history. Suddenly, in the crosswords of the Daily Telegraph, strange answer words started appearing. Omaha, Utah, Neptune, Overlord. Those were the top-secret code names for the invasion plans. MI5 intelligence was panicked. They thought the crossword author was a German spy passing signals to the enemy. The poor author, a schoolteacher named Leonard Daw, was arrested and interrogated for days. He nearly went gray from fear. Do you know what turned out to be the truth? It was just an unbelievable coincidence. He just liked the way those words sounded. It reminds us, friends, that sometimes fate throws us riddles that even the brightest minds can't solve right away. If Arthur Wynne was the father of the crossword, then Margaret Farrar was its strict but fair mother. She was the first editor at the New York Times. She's the one who came up with the rules we love today and the ones we sometimes quietly curse the creators for. For example, the rule of symmetry. Look at any good crossword. If you turn the newspaper upside down, the pattern of black squares stays exactly the same. That's real art. She also banned dead-end letters. That's when a letter is in a word but doesn't intersect with another word. She thought that was unfair to the player. The game must be fair, she said. And that's what I always tell you. In life, just like in a crossword, everything should be connected. One word supports the other. Think crosswords are just about knowledge? No way, they're about feelings too. There was one case where a fellow decided to propose to his girlfriend through the newspaper. He talked the editor into it, and in the morning, while she was doing her daily quiz, she suddenly saw the question, "Darryl, will you marry me?" Think about her face. Of course, she said, yes. That's much more romantic than just a ring in a champagne glass. And for the record breakers out there, here's a fact. A British man named Roger Squires once made a crossword where the answer was the longest word in the world, the name of a Welsh village with 58 letters. I won't even try to pronounce it because the coffee will get cold before I reach the middle. But it shows how flexible our minds can be if we keep training them. Oh, this is my favorite part. Have you noticed who uses what? In our circle, there's always been this debate. The ones who tackle a crossword with a pencil and an eraser are cautious, thoughtful people. They know they might make a mistake, and that's okay. But then there are those daredevils who grab a pen right away. Oh, that's a real test of self-confidence. In the old days, they called those people intellectual aristocrats. Writing a word in ink is like cutting off your path of retreat. It's like saying to the world, I know I'm right. I tried writing in pen once to impress your grandmother. I made so many blots the crossword looked like a map of the night sky. Since then, I've realized it's not a shame to be wrong. It's a shame not to try and solve the next word. My dear friends, we aren't young lions anymore, but our minds are a weapon we can't let rust. A crossword isn't just killing time. When you recall the capital of a distant country or the name of a forgotten actor, little sparks fly in your head. Those are neurons greeting each other. Science says these exercises are the best medicine against forgetfulness. It keeps us in tune. When we solve these riddles, we aren't just filling squares, we are putting our own thoughts in order. I often remember struggling with particularly tricky questions myself. Sometimes a word is on the tip of your tongue. You can almost taste it, but it won't come out. And then, while you're washing dishes or working in the garden, bam! It hits you. That's an incredible feeling of victory, isn't it? A tiny triumph over chaos. Before I let you go, let's see if those neurons of yours were paying attention today. I've got 3 little questions for you, a little brain prime, to see who's really with me. First, what was the name of the newspaper where that first crossword appeared back in 1913? Second, I told you the first one wasn't a square. So what geometric shape did it actually have? And third, when the library craze hit, how many minutes were you allowed to hog the dictionary before they kicked you off? If you got all 3, give yourself a pat on the back. Your memory is as sharp as a New York lawyer. And if you didn't, don't you worry one bit. That's exactly why we're here, to keep those gears turning and getting better every day. I'm proud of you for even trying. Well, the coffee is almost gone, and the sun is higher in the sky. Today, we remembered how a printer's mistake became a global legend, how libraries rationed dictionaries for word fans, and how crosswords helped people get through the darkest times of the war. Remember, life is also a giant crossword. Some words we guess right away, others we have to think about for years. The main thing is never to peek at the answers ahead of time. The whole joy is in the search itself. Thanks for listening to an old man. May your mind be as sharp as a fresh pencil and your memory as reliable as an old printing press. Blessings to you on this day. Don't forget to solve at least one little crossword today. Do something nice for your brain. And be sure to subscribe to our little gatherings so we can have more warm talks like this again.